what brings me here today and my rant for the week, I am so fucking tired of these reboots that they keep doing.
Oh shit.
Like nothing is sacred. Like they're having like whether it's a series, most of the time they're series because they want that money. They want to stretch out that dollar
Oh
and get their
yeah.
streaming views. So like Harry Potter is going to be a series. I think Hunger Games is going to have one, and Twilight's definitely been greenlit for something.
Oh
It's
shit.
like everything from like my adolescence is back. And like I was just sitting here, I was on a different plane of existence for reasons unknown.
Yeah.
But I was watching TV yesterday. I was watching TV yesterday and it was like a commercial for the MTV Movie Awards and I was like first of all I felt like old.
Old as
Like
hell.
I was going to turn into dust. Like I was like, "Oh my God, they still do these." Of course they do. It's like probably the only thing they still do on MTV. But
Damn.
anyway, all the categories were like rebooted franchises or sequels. Like there was like two, like maybe one original film in their
That's
best picture categories. And I was just like, see, we don't have anything. Anything. And I'll like some of those things. Like, don't get me wrong. Did I go and see Wakanda Forever? Yeah, I did. Like, I guess I'm part of the problem too. But
this is interesting because those shows that you said, I didn't know that they were coming back. Besides Harry, I heard about Harry Potter, the Twilight one I didn't know, and Hunger Games I didn't know. But this
The Hunger
is
Games is I think the furthest in production. I think I've seen stills like from and it looks good. Like I think they've even have a trailer. Like it looks good. I'm not gonna even say that it doesn't look good,
yeah.
but it's just like do your kids get to have like their things? Like that's my whole thing. Like I know that they have things that like all kids do. I feel like so old being like, well, give the kids some new media, some new stuff to cling on to. Like, I don't know.
It seems like the shows are now doing like I know whenever I was growing up, it seemed like that's what they're doing with the shows is what they were doing with music. It seemed like Diddy was all over the market and the sample and everything, and you would hear I would be listening to songs and you would have people from the older generation like have an attitude or talk about it's not real music because
Yeah.
they were basically sampling or they were taking stuff from out of there.
Exactly. What you know about this?
Yup. So like that's really interesting to see like the shows because I know shows that I like grew up on. I know like with the exception of like Ninja Turtles, there haven't been like really too many remakes in Fresh Prince. But for the most part, I haven't really seen too many that I like really grew up on that have made it back around. When it comes to
I
these,
think you just got to give it time. Like,
but just
you
like how
might
you
be
said all of those
surprised.
shows, I think I might just be out of the loop though in some ways too. There might be some stuff that is probably going on that I just am unaware of because there's so many different platforms to get stuff now from too. Like you got like Tubi,
That's
Hulu.
so
They be going in
true.
on Tubi though. That
Yeah.
Tubi, I don't know what goes on Tubi, but I guess Tubi's like the
Tubi's weird.
yo. Tubi be suspect now. They be talking some shit on Tubi, yo, because Tubi just lets anything go. Tubi lets
Yes.
anything slide.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're not wrong about that. But
But
it just, yeah, it
I'm
just
trying to
blows
think of
my
the
mind.
I'm trying to think of the girls now though, and I don't know. Like I'm trying to think like if there's any
Like, what is their
original
big
content
thing?
that they
Yeah.
watch.
Like, I don't know. Like, of course, all kids are different. Like, all kids weren't into Harry Potter, all kids aren't into Star Wars, whatever. But, like, it was like because it was like such a big like phenomenon, like there are just like, like there's a whole amusement park for it. But like the things I remember coming up being into stuff like that were like the midnight showings, and people would be like decked out in like wizarding robes and like, themed costumes and stuff.
Now I don't know if you watched this show. It was around whenever I was a teenager, and I know that girls were into it. And this is something that the girls read and they watch. And I don't know if this is necessarily like a reboot or if it just continues. But the
Hmm.
Babysitters Club is one thing
Okay, that's
that I do
cool.
know that Serena is into. Skylar already had her like little stage or phase with it. So like when Serena will talk, like Serena could go to Skylar with names and Skylar knows who she's talking about, even though she
That
doesn't currently
reminds me
watch.
of the printouts you do every year. Like, my name is Serena. I'm going,
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
one of her jobs was to be a babysitter. That explains that. One of
Yep.
her dream job when she grows up. I'm like, oh
You
yeah,
know,
because when she's 13, that's grown up to her.
I don't, you know what? Now I'm thinking about it because now I think that Wednesday also caught their attention, and which was
That was
crazy.
big.
It's coming back now. So what
But
happened
yeah, it's a
when
thing
it
that like
first
cycled back. Yeah.
when it first came out? Skylar's grade was they consumed it. Like everybody in
I
Skylar's
could
age
see
and stuff,
Skylar
they was
being really
all
into
for it.
that.
But now all of a sudden, because Serena, and that's weird that you just like talked about the reboots, because that's what we were just talking about today in the house, is that Serena has now been taking a liking to it because a lot of the kids in her class have been seeing it. I don't know if it's a brother sibling type thing or what's going on with it, but
Probably.
now it's like another wave. And I guess there's like a dance and stuff that they do or whatever like that. So
Yes.
like, yeah, so I would say the Adams family is something that they definitely know about, but they're right. They're like, it's weird because they're in that transition right now from leaving the cartoon stage and going into
Yes.
the real production type stages. So it's interesting to see which way they're going to
It's
go.
it's funny you mentioned that because I had a whole crisis about this yesterday. And I I was like, so like I have a notes app and the girls know about it. Like I have a note on that app that
Mm-hmm.
it's like movie ideas for Rena and Sky. And so the
Oh,
girls have
dope.
seen it. Yeah. And like Skylar's like, Serena, look at this. Cause you know, that's all they do is take my phone when they come
Yep.
here.
Yep.
And so like for the longest time, or like when I first started that, I was thinking like, okay, like things that they'll enjoy in their age group. But now I just kind of put movies in there just so I don't forget them.
Yeah.
Like if I think that they'll enjoy them like down the line, even though I don't think they're like appropriate like right now, but I got walloped last night because, and I'm not saying this is appropriate necessarily, but I was thinking about Scream and how much I love Scream. And I was like, I love
Oh,
that when I was
yeah.
Skylar's age. I said, but Serena's too young for Scream. Like, Skylar probably just ekes it out, but Serena's too young. But then I sat there and I had like a whole moment. I'm like, she's turning 10
Mm-hmm.
this year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's when I got into horror. Like, so like I'm like, so am I skewed in what I think is appropriate for kids?
That's
because
I
because
I
mom
battle
never
this
really
all the
had serious, yeah, like
I battle this
boundaries.
all the time because I like just like how you do. I try to like think about things from like I try to compare it in a way, like to put myself at their age and see what I was doing
Yeah,
and try to do it. And that's a weird thing because and it like you said, Sky's all the way ready. Serena, I think she thinks she is, but she
exactly.
probably isn't. But then I like it does like it starts to make me question like why should I have been exposed to it? Was I too young for it? It's just it's a weird thing. I guess it just depends on the kid and where you're at with
That's
your
true.
relationship,
Absolutely.
where you're at with your parenting and where you're at with the kids and what they actually know. Because a lot of kids nowadays get so much information that some of them were, if you want to compare to our age, a lot of them were, uh, I guess more grown upish than we were. I mean, at least with
That's
information and things like that,
that's
they
where
know a
I'm
lot of
at
stuff.
with it. It's like like you said, it's like information overload. There's definitely stuff that they were exposed to just by being like on the internet that I
Yep.
wasn't necessarily exposed to till later. So you have that side of it, but also like they just seem so much younger than I was at that same
That's,
stage. Like
yeah,
it's just
yeah,
so
yeah,
weird. It's
yeah.
so bizarre.
Yep.
I'm trying to wrap my head around it.
And it's funny that we don't like really enforce like if Sky wants to watch something that like if I think that she's ready for, I'm not really going to go towards like the ratings of it and say like, oh, you can't do it because of this. Serena is die hard on it though. Like Serena will be like, Skylar was watching something that was PG-13. Like she's so straight and narrow with stuff like that. So she might not even try to cheat her just because of the ratings and things like that. Like she's even so I don't know what that Wednesday show is. That might be something like that might be like one of the first ones, but she got a gear with like I don't know who put the ratings on her, but she has ratings set in her head
That is
and
so hilarious.
she doesn't try to like really go above her or out of her boundaries.
I'm gonna
Skylar,
have to have a conversation with her about debunking ratings and what bullshit they are.
oh shit. And she'll take that so serious. She'll try to be an expert. She will try to be an expert.
But yeah, like I don't they just regurgitate this stuff and like they just want dollars. They want the money. And so like the creativity is like out the window. And I'm just like, I don't know, like what makes these things special, it's just like they happen like in a vacuum and then they blow up for whatever reason that they blow up. Like you people don't anticipate it half the time. And it's just like the next huge thing. And I'm like, we don't even get a chance to have that anymore. Because we
Just
don't have any
crazy.
like originality. Like they're not, and then you have like the whole writer strike. So you know how they treat writers. Like,
I knew where I was going with this too, and I think, and it doesn't like it's apples and oranges in a way, but I blame Game of Thrones in a way because of the success on how they took that series and how they were able to stretch it out so many seasons. I think people wanted to do that concept with other things now, like oh, we could have like a Game of
yeah, like,
Thrones approach and just take a certain chapter and just go all the way in on that or whatever, and try
absolutely.
back stuff or whatever like that. One thing like how you talk about childhood, the one reboot that is uh I guess that I know about is the Will Smith one. And like I haven't watched it yet and I don't know if I can. Like it's just certain how you said there's certain things that I remember things as but
Yeah. Are
if
you
I
talking about the Fresh Prince?
yeah, the Fresh Prince, I'm sorry,
Okay.
Fresh Prince, yeah.
Okay. And that's so, and it's like funny because like they didn't try to do anything similar with it. Like it basically has the same name and like the same characters. Like,
Yeah,
so, but it's, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Like I'm supposed
yep,
to accept this as Will. I'm supposed to accept this as Carlton. And
yeah,
like, and it's grittier. And I hear good things about it. Like, it's not like you, it's not the point we're trying to make. Like you can make good art out of this stuff,
exactly.
like, or watchable stuff, but my gosh. And so like but the whole thing with that, I remember Will Smith being like, "Oh, he had like this totally cool concept." And I was like, "Yeah, like I've not heard cuz I mean, I'm sure he's been approached numerous times to do a spin-off or a reboot over the years because that's what we do. That's what we do. But yeah, it's
Oh, and
everything.
his was crazy. I got to give like so how that started though was that the dude just wanted just to it was a videographer and he just so what happened it might have been like maybe 4 years ago he was
Yeah.
just thinking like what would Fresh Prince look like today and he just made a trailer but that trailer went viral
That's right.
and
I do
it went
remember
crazy
this.
to the point that Will saw it and then it was almost like he wanted to jump on it so that's how that actually so
That's
somebody's
and
creativity actually sparked that
so
off that
yeah, so like you have like stuff like that that it's just not like an exec somewhere in a studio like, "Oh,
yeah
we're going to take this franchise and we're going to milk it for more money." It's like somebody who loved that so much the first time that they were like, "Wow, I wonder what that would look like today." And then
yeah
they end up running a show. Like that's so crazy. I love stories like that. I love that's my thing. Like I want the next big person. Like like and then we get like these original like stories that they do come out and they're like so popular, like Jordan Poole gets his accolades and like he's critically acclaimed and everybody loves his shit, but then we still like you still insist on making reboots. Like I
yeah
don't
oh, you're right.
see. Yeah, I called him Jordan Poole, I think Jordan Peele,
That's why now I
but
started laughing because you said Jordan Poole. And when you said
I was
Jordan
just
Poole,
watching
I started thinking about the
basketball.
Carlton shot because he just
he's
that's what that's what
getting
Jordan Poole did the other
destroyed.
game. He just threw
He's
that shit
getting
up.
destroyed online. They were like, "We got to get the baddies out there for Jordan Poole," and they were like, "What the fuck?" And I guess he didn't have a good game yesterday, but all the Warriors fans were hyped because Zendaya was at the game. They're like,
Oh, okay,
he's gonna be
okay.
okay.
He
He's
was
gonna be
straight.
okay." But he had like 6 points. So
Damn. Yeah, no, I know you're talking about now, Jordan Peele.
yeah,
Okay,
Jordan
okay.
Peele. But like when he has a movie that comes out, like I have to go see it in the theaters. Like it's
Yeah,
always like it's just like such an experience. Like you should
yeah,
see that with other people.
yep.
And I'm like, we're kind of losing out on those movies that like, and I've had fun in Marvel movies too. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like we were in Endgame hype, like having a gay old time. But like this whole thing, like he was like a regular ass comedian, and then really he was a genius this whole time. And
True, true.
now he has like this audience. Like I'm part of it. Like, oh, he puts out movies every few years. And so you're like, oh, this is what he's been working on for 3 years. Like, I'm gonna go see that. And it's so cool, like these concepts that he has. And I'm just like, who's the
And
next
yeah,
one?
he
Like, I
expressed
want to see it.
creativity though. That's yeah, he's fully creative too. He's not
Yes.
like Spider Man is one that's like now watered down in a way because there's so many different. Well, I mean, the way that they pulled it in with how they do stuff with the multiverse and things. That's kind of cool. But at first, it was looking like, all right, how many Spider-Mans are we going to get? What is going wrong with
Exactly.
the Spider-Man thing? So you don't want to get him.
Because like you because yeah, there was like a reboot every few years. Like,
Exactly.
you know,
Yep.
one would end and like that's even my qualm with Harry Potter. It's like so, you know, and like the author is in like she's just controversial. She fucking sucks. I shouldn't even call her controversial. But anyway, that's being nice. But like they had a whole movie franchise after Harry Potter, like the
Yep.
Fantastic Beasts franchise. But like they dropped off.
Was that planned originally, or did she do that as? Did the Fantastic Beasts, was that always associated with Harry Potter from the time you guys been reading, or did that come out like once she started seeing the success of Harry Potter?
So in Harry Potter, yeah, so yeah, like that last end, like she expounded on a person. He's in the books, like the so
Oh,
like
okay.
how you so in the books he's not like a character that like you come across, like he's older and he's a historian, but they like read his textbook at Hogwarts.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So she took that narrative, or she took that and like expounded on that backstory and made a franchise out of it. And like even there's even a book, Fantastic Beasts, but it's like a zoology book. Like it has all these magical creatures in it. I have it someplace from years ago. Yeah, so that's what the Fantastic Beasts is. It's like a book, you know, and all that. So it's like you're saying, like Harry Potter blew up, and she's like, so she also gets like backlash for being like, oh no, this was always part of my vision. Like I always saw this. Like it's a
Oh
money
shit.
grab. It's a money grab. Quit it. Quit it. Like she just says off the wall shit besides.
Thanks for watching the YouTube page. For more exclusive content, like and subscribe. And if we said something wrong or if there's anything you want us to bring up, leave a comment right down there.